Shout out to Hot Computer Smell. Was that a good galaxy explosion? We are live, I believe, yes, on Trovo, Periscope, YouTube, D Live, Facebook, and Twitch. And of course, TalkStream Live. That has the TalkStream Live app, the TalkStream app, and TalkRight app, and of course the JLP Live player, which you can find by going to either jesseleepeterson.com/show or thehakereport.com/show. What's up, guys? It is Friday, March 19th, 2021, 9:03 a.m. U.S. Pacific Daylight Time. Let's get right started with this weirdo music, guys, right? Nice Christian. I love it. And some of you do too, I think. So, enjoy for a second. This is Soul Junk.
Delivering lines of post signs, host the most fake bombs, throw verbose, hate slows, cause it's a close chase, see like the ghost. Play my ace and then balance. Real appearances enough to bring the cold shake silver. My forearm splinters in broken Spanish. I managed to spit out what's the damage? Styles outlandish. Like Raleigh with the handlebars, Blasio, one false move and it's an O shape. Battle scars spitting out the overgrown straight follicles. You miss my molecules.
A little quiet?
Like an
I don't know. Too loud? Most people say it's good about fun.
Over the I swear I'm topping y'all with the tasty cake and Boston and 1,000-mile gauge. Your blazing standards with diminishing comebacks at minimum wage. Why lie about your age when you're 900 years past your prime? Premium vintage.
Mic 1, music 3. Okay.
Tubular belt, and you drone blast, intestinal didgeridoos, mirror the shadow that you don't cast them with it. But of course, how easy to cover.
Thank you, Joseph Gerlix.
Your songs on boards. Fab cat calls and back, come on, some prefab scores. DD down to the core. So what you try to say? My paragraphs all run on straight as I display. When I'm confined in some simple-minded catchphrase, there's some bite-sized alphabets line up in the spoon to spell A-C-H-O-O and blow you all the way. A-C-H-O-O and blow you all the way. A-C-H-O-O and blow you all the way. A-C-H-O-O-O-O.
All right, let's bring the music down just a touch. What's up, guys? Walt Kafka says, awful music. Joseph Gerlich says, the song is not too bad so far. Luckily, it's short. I like it. That's Soul Junk. It's a 4-word name of the song, and I don't understand the lyrics. It is Christian music, but it's called Ungst, Func, Slag, Collision. If you understand that, I don't. Maybe you can help me out. But guys, we're gonna be taking your calls. 888-773-3773. Okay? 888-775-3773. We'll talk about Putin. Did you hear Putin challenged Biden to a debate? And China smacking down America too, because America's letting itself get punked by BLM. And it's a disgrace. All that, and of course, the crazy immigration situation, the smears upon whites, and whites are getting the worst treatment for liking Asian girls, white males. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have some mean tweets to read for you. And your calls. Let's get on with the show.
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
Hey guys, we're gonna be talking about the ridiculous culture that we're living in, and the communists, the historic communists, are just absolutely clowning America, the weak communists. And it's a disgrace.
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
So shout out to the original theme songwriter, AJ Gallardo. Shout out, man. I'm sure you're watching. Who wrote the Hake Report original theme song. And of course, shout out to Trevor Wesley, who did the bumpier version, quicker version that you hear Monday through Thursday. Thank you to CLC for hosting the Hake Report on dlive.tv/the Hake Report, or CLC for his SIELC. And JLP also hosting on DLive. I'm hearing that DLive is getting some scrutiny from many true Americans who have hosted shows on DLive and felt a little backstabbed by DLive. But I'm still streaming on there. I'm also on trovo.live/the Hake Report, as well as many others. Auto hosting on Twitch too, CLC says. Nice, thank you. Yeah, I'm on twitch.tv/the Hake Report. JLP streams on Twitch, only gaming and church, though, because the radio show is just too truthful to them, I guess. I'm going to be reading your super chats and all that stuff and getting to your calls. As I mentioned, if you listen to the audio feed, then you can hear my little bit of banter before I start streaming on the Hake Report video channels. And I'm going to be getting to Samuel in Sweden wants to talk about the real Independence Day for America. Maybe that was supposed to be March 4th. No, I'm kidding around. But real quick, I noticed something when I was reading yesterday, and I don't have any pictures of this or anything. Trans Fox News. Fox News report writing. And I like them still, but the language and the words of their reporting has gone just absolutely insane. They use words like transphobic, which is an imaginary thing where you're scared of the transgenders or hate the transgenders for being transgenders, not because it's wrong. And cis is a word for meaning normal. Cis is a word to make normal people feel like they have a special word, just like all the other special word abnormal people. Cis means you're not transgender, basically, right? I think that's what that means. There was this Wikipedia article, speaking of the less corrupt version of so-called journalism, of not too long ago. There was a Wikipedia article about a Japanese guy, and I've told you about this Japanese guy. He's a former prime minister, 84 years old. I don't remember his name, but he was in charge of the Olympics for 2020, which is now pushed to 2021 this summer. And this guy talked about how women talk too much in meetings. They feel they have this abnormal sense of competition. They feel like they have to compete. If one of them talks, then they all feel like they have to talk and feel like they're important, right? Ego. And he said they talk too much. The meetings last too long, longer than necessary. And, you know, anybody who goes to meetings, sometimes the meetings can get excessively long because people get carried away. Yeah. And so he said that about women, and it was described in this Wikipedia article that I was reading, and this was recent too, regarded as sexist. Regarded as sexist. Not that he said something sexist, but he said something regarded as sexist. And that's the more journalistic way of writing it, honestly. They should have put quotation marks around sexist because it's not a real thing, right? But oh well. At least they put regarded as sexist. But nowadays, sleazy AP, sleazy Reuters, and the whole rest, and I point out AP and Reuters because they pretend like they're objective. AP like feeds articles to even right-wing outlets, just repost AP writing sometimes. So anyway, they say stuff that Trump has said as outright racist. They just call Trump said this racist thing, even though it's not racist, it's not sexist, it's not anything like that. But they no longer are they journalists. They're just assigning motives and just madness. It's so ridiculous. The actor who played, but this is, go back to Fox News, the actor who played Voldemort in the movie Harry Potter, or the movies Harry Potter, Voldemort was like the chief bad guy. This guy, Ralph Fiennes, he might be a British foreign guy, right? I don't know. But he defended the author of the Harry Potter movies. Harry Potter is like this child boy wizard witch guy from early 2000s through 2011. And the author is this woman, J.K. Rowling, who has come out as just an evil woman, completely far left extremist. I don't think she's American. She might be. Hopefully not, but whatever. She's from one of these white countries that's just surrendering to evil, which is the word that I use for cucking. But J.K. Rowling is a Trump hater and everything else evil, right? But she was smeared as transphobic. She has disturbing accusations of transphobia. And that was reported in just March 18th, yesterday. There's J.K. Rowling. Is that natural red hair, reddish hair? Redheads or hotheads? No, but she's nasty on Twitter. Typical liberal woman. But anyway, because she jumped on some article that said people who menstruate. Menstruate. It's a process that women go through, right? It's basically so that they can have babies, right? Something along those lines. And she said, why do you say people who menstruate rather than just women? Well, that's regarded as transphobic by the radicals, right? Because men can menstruate, men can get pregnant and have babies, because trans men are men, even though they're really women. Yeah, she's a billionaire. Joelle Friday's like, what the? But, I mean, imagine 8 movies or something like that made, and not to mention all the books that she sold, because she wrote the Harry Potter books, and then they made movies out of them, and she probably got paid from both. So I'm not surprised to hear she's a billionaire. Man. But anyway, she said, come on, this women. When you just erase the notion of women, and she's all, I love trans people, but you can't just completely erase the fact that women are women. And so the far left Trump-hating feminist, Harry Potter author, J.K. Rowling, by the way, she wrote a new book recently. It was reported September of last year, 2020. It was getting criticism for having transphobic themes. Not anti-man themes, but transphobic themes, because this male, a cis male, they said. The Fox News article actually said this, cis male. This didn't used to be mainstream writing. This was Tumblr writing. I remember when Tumblr introduced to me the word cis, and how cis, C-I-S. Cis is to make the weirdos feel less weird because the normals have a weird name too. I think that's along those lines, right? Anyway, she wrote this book. It's a novel about some man, cis man, who dresses up in dresses, transvestite, which GLAAD, the Gay and Lesbian Alliance Against Defamation, like to defame the straights, says transvestite is a slur for transgender. But anyway, he went as a transvestite in order to entrap and hurt women, maybe even kill them. Some book that she wrote. So some book reviewer said, the moral of the story is basically never trust a man in a dress, which isn't really what she was talking about. She even said that she so-called loves trans people, which means she accepts evil as fine. But no, she doesn't accept it enough for them. And I heard, by the way, that the communists killed one another. The communists who took over different countries, they used the freaks and weirdos, and then they killed them off, or they used the radicals, or the radicals came to power, and then people were suspicious of them and killed them. Evil people hurt evil people just as much as they target decent people. And they are targeting decent people. You hear the FBI, the Biden administration, the DHS targeting whites and smearing Trump, all kinds of stuff. You're quite aware of it. I've read about it in Hake News, so I just had to share that with you. It's just just think about how much stuff has changed since Biden came into office in 72 or the 70s or something like that. And he's gone right along with that, with all of it. He said if an 8-year-old feels like he's transgender, he should blah, 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 or she, whatever. He goes along with the transgender thing, with the same-sex marriage thing. So it's so ridiculous to hear them say, oh, Biden is just a moderate. No, he's establishment. Biden got this new CIA director appointed, William Burns, confirmed as CIA director, according to the Epoch Times. And I know nothing about this guy except that he's been in the State Department for over 30 years, according to reporting. Swamp? Certainly establishment. That means no confidence. Because look at what the establishment has gone along with. The total destruction of American civilization, culture. Former ambassador to Russia and Jordan, the country. Ted Cruz held up the confirmation of his nomination, right? Until the sleepy Biden administration complained about some pipeline that Russia is building that's in Eastern Europe, right? So this William Burns is now the front man, and I use the term man loosely, for the CIA, the Central So-Called Intelligence Agency, the premier spy agency. Is it the premier or is the NSA now overtaken them? They said Biden is moderate. They said that this guy has an unvarnished career. Anytime they use language like that, I think of James Comey. Not a straight arrow. He's anything but straight. And I'm not talking sexual. I'm just talking about morally. He's not morally straight or an honest person. He's a phony, weak, pushover, kiss up to women. Dishonest women, too, by the way. No confidence. Establishment endlessly, including the rhinos, endlessly caves and kisses up to the radical left who want no borders, no wall, no USA at all. They hate Christians and whites and men. Anyway, that's enough of that. I want to get to some calls right off, and then I will read some of these mean tweets against whites and over this, the spas shootings, right, over in Atlanta. I just want to share with you some of the liberal fake Christian postings about it, including Beth Moore, who won't come on the Jesse Lee Peterson show, or at least wouldn't when I invited her. Frank Schaefer, who came on to the Jesse Lee Peterson show, son of the famous Francis Schaefer, who wrote some books. This guy is an evil person, and he refuses for now, or at least the last time I invited him, to return to the Jesse Lee Peterson show. But he was a nasty guy, pretty shallow and empty, honestly. Jory Micah, who has been on the Jesse Lee Peterson show, and recently the Fallen State, who ran off at the end because JLP called the Black Lives Matter fat black lesbians. Man, she is completely clueless. Even though she has a master's in, she has an MA, master's in who knows what, in Christian doctrine and church history. She has no clue. When you heard her interview, oh my gosh, the stuff that she was just repeating. And more, blacks and others, women and males. But first, let me get to Samuel in Sweden. Samuel, thank you for holding. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Nice.
And, I wanted to mention I'm back on YouTube.
Congrats.
Not banned right now.
Nice. Yeah, you were suspended for a while for your first strike.
Yeah. So when they hit me for a video I made in January,
right?
I guess they can strike anytime again. Anytime back. I made a video.
Yeah.
So
are you going to change up how you express yourself on there?
Well, maybe try to. I don't know. I mean, I'm just me, but I will see if I will
Okay.
check myself in some way. You know, I don't want to, but I don't want to have a fake show.
Right.
You know,
I understand.
just because they're banning people.
Right.
But I will have Matt Living the Dream as my guest, and I think there will be a lot of talk about America and America's history. And honestly, it was a conversation I had with him recently that made me look up the early history of America. And I found that it's not the 4th of July, which is that is the real Independence Day for America, but instead the 3rd September.
Oh, really?
So what I found is that America did not fight win the independence. They wrote a paper with the British King, Treaty of Paris, in 1783, which gave them the independence, but on a paper.
Okay.
And it says, and you can Google it. It's on Wikipedia too. Treaty of Paris. And so, I mean, I was surprised to see that. I mean, I thought the Americans fought for it, and just the British just had to accept it. No, they had, you know, went back and forth, wrote down a paper, you know, about it, like a contract. You know, the Americans had needed to give back certain areas to British subjects. And
Okay.
other interesting stuff, you know. But yeah, and
So
then,
was
of
it?
course,
And that was in Paris. That means that the French helped us out against the Brits.
It seems like the American colonies, the French, and I think some other countries, Spain. Yeah, Spain. And
Spain helped us too?
Involved. Well, they actually, it says in Wikipedia that the British and the American came to this treaty by themselves. They excluded France and Spain.
All right.
It's also called something like the peace. I'm trying to say, but a peace of Paris, and that's when the British also came with peace with all these other kind of colonies like France and things like that.
You know, so so the Declaration of Independence, which was written, I think, by Thomas Jefferson, and that's what I've been reading every year, at least a truncated version of it, on the first day of White History Month, or at least maybe the 4th of July, actually. But that was basically the start of the war, almost, right? Or just that led up to the war. And then the 1783 treaty in Paris was the end of the war?
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, you could say that. That's when the Americans and British shook hands and, ended the strife. But I mean, that's cool. And it's from that treaty that America has it to call independence.
Right. But we declared it. We declared it in faith on July 4th, and it came to pass September 3rd. 6 years.
Honestly, I think what shocked me was that America had to go and get the permission to have independence from the British man. That's what I was amazed about.
You know, that's the Declaration of Independence actually gives a nod to the fact that other countries around the world have to acknowledge and recognize the independence of us and why we had our grievances. I say we like I was there, right? But why the founding fathers had their grievances against the British and the Crown and all them. So we made our case in the Declaration of Independence for it, and we fought like heaven, as the Great White Hope might say, and then we won it. We won it, but like civilized white men, we had to make a deal. Something along those lines. Are you still there, Samuel?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still there. I miss this listening. Well,
Yeah.
I don't have a personal involvement in that. Just that I'm interested in American
Yeah, of
American
course.
history.
Yeah.
But
That is interesting for sure.
The 3rd of September was
1776
the
to
day-
83. It's 7 years, right? Something like that. 7 years and a few months. Cool.
Yeah.
Can you have guns
Well,
over there in Sweden?
Guns. Well, we have hunting rifles, I guess, and I mean, you can buy a lot of guns if you have the right permissions.
Yeah.
And you have the permission here, permission there, and every single use of the gun, and every time you buy ammo is needed to get permission. It seems like that.
Yeah,
but,
it's getting like that here too.
well, you're far, 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 far away from being as ridiculous as Sweden.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I'm going to say it once again. Save your right to have arms. I mean,
Yeah.
fight for it like hell.
Yeah.
Because if they take that, you're just like unprotected against anything and everyone.
Yeah. I agree with that, man. That's just raw sanity, common sense. It's
Yeah,
insanity what they're pushing.
I live in the insane part of Earth, I guess.
Yep. Very
And
true.
It's like every single country except America has very, very strong gun laws, it seems.
Yeah. I appreciate it, Samuel. It's good to hear from you. Are you doing your... Did you already do your painting? You were going to do a painting, and then it seemed like... Was that the same week that you got banned before you can do... suspended?
I don't... I paint every day now.
But you were going to paint on a stream.
Yeah, I will have paint and chat with me and Matt.
Okay.
Matt on
Nice.
Saturday.
All right.
So it's double Matt week.
Nice.
Maple, yeah.
Maple Matt. Excellent maple maker.
Yeah, so that's the same time my stream starts. At the same time your stream starts.
Okay. 9 a.m. my time. 9 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Sounds good. Appreciate it, Samuel. It's good to hear from you.
Yeah, and I have a nice weekend.
You as well. Take care. Ninja Huey says Biden fell on the stairs of Air Force One 3 times. Really? When was this? You guys showed me, and Joelle Friday here showed me the video. We saw it a couple of days ago at the end of my stream of that footage of Joe Biden walking from, Marine One or something like that. And he's walking alongside the driveway or something to the press people. And he briefly answers a question about, you have plans to go to the southern border? And he's like leaning and his hands are coming forward in a weird position. And you see all these microphones coming up from underneath on the bottom of the screen. And in some cases, the microphones, even though it's all huge and looks like it's right up close and blurry, by the way, his hand goes in front of it. And at one point, his hand goes behind. His hand goes in front of a couple of the mics and then behind one of the mics, or behind and then in front. And actually, I saw a so-called debunk, and I think it's a legitimate debunk, of the claims that it was a green screen fail or whatever by this guy who took it upon himself to debunk conspiracy theories, right? And so that kind of satisfied me, I guess. One of the mics, well, this one did satisfy me. One of the mics was this huge thing with a big cover on it that they call a dead cat. I guess because it's big enough to be like the size of a cat, because it looked big. It looked like it was much closer to the camera than Biden, and yet his hand came in front of it somehow. That was so bizarre to look at. And then plus they're on these long poles. Are they boom mics, even though they're not above, like a crane boom? Or are they shotgun mics? I think they might be boom mics, but just held up from underneath. I don't know. But anyway, that video pretty much satisfied me. I'm like, okay, that's what happened. Before, it was a question mark in my head. Not one that was bothering me, but it was just a question mark. I didn't know if it was a green screen thing. I was like, why would they go through all that trouble? That's strange. But no, it was a normal thing, I think. I'm satisfied. But this guy he's been on many shows, Joe Rogan and H3 podcast, which is this big podcast on YouTube. And they're talking about the different conspiracy theories, right? And I'm thinking this imaginary racism is one of the biggest conspiracy theories. And the belief in it is the fake. And is it a conspiracy or an indictment of the culture, right? They're claiming that the culture is white supremacist, but they're also claiming the system is white supremacist because the culture is white supremacist. Give me a break. I say that it's actually the culture is prone to believe lies. And I think that this guy might know that, but I don't hear him talking about it. And that's a much more destructive critical race theory, or whatever that you want to call it, I don't know. Very destructive. And you topple that, you undermine basically the whole Democrat Party and the rhinos, who have undermined every based politician that we've ever had. And they're toppling their monuments and all kinds of stuff. It's ridiculous. But I don't really see... I know that he kind of also poo-pooed the Russia-gate conspiracy theory, the Trump-Russia conspiracy theory. So right on to him for that. This guy named Mick West, he's a British guy. He used to, I don't know, he used to deal with in some other field, but now he's doing these conspiracy theory things. Interesting. But it's just a whole corrupt culture. Same thing with the election shenanigans. I don't think it had to be a conspiracy, this vast conspiracy. Look at how weak the culture is. The culture is so weak that it can watch certain types of people act out and just shrug our shoulders, and let them slide. Black Lives Matter, Antifa, the whole establishment let both of those slide. I mean, yeah, the Republicans sometimes make complaints about them, but other than that, nothing. And not just them, the women, this whole kissing up to the hashtag Me Too movement, it's a corrupt culture that believes lies, props up liars, and look at the people who get elected. Obama, big liar. Clinton, huge liar. The Bushes, they're liars too. Fortunately, we got Trump. I don't think that he's a liar. Biden, Kamala Harris. Well, Kamala Harris, nobody likes. I don't think, on the whole. Anyway, it's just a strange phenomenon. Willie Pal says, "Hey, Hake, congratulations. Will you get married after church this weekend?" No, they said a year. Maybe. But anyway. Sixto Rewhited says, Atlanta incel, more like Atlanta sleeper cell. This is a reference to the shootings at the spas. Best way to push an agenda? Sleeper cell. Interesting. Stay righteous, Sir Hake. And yeah, that's good advice, because that's what's going on. That's what's, I think, honestly going on with this attack upon the Proud Boys, this scaremongering about the white nationalists. Most of the white nationalists, yes, some of them get angry and radical and evil. And some of them are evil, not in the sense that they're gonna hurt anybody, but they're evil in the sense that all of the establishment is evil. All of the fake people who are cowards won't won't call out the out-of-control blacks or women or anything. All of them are evil. Evil as in angry. And what I think the establishment wants to do, my suspicion, because the establishment is going after 3%ers, oath keepers, which I know very little about, except I know that oath keepers, from years ago, I heard about them. They want to keep their oath to uphold and defend the Constitution. So I'm like, oh, that sounds good. And the Proud Boys, who they just support Western civilization. Venerate the housewife is one of their sayings. All of that and that smear upon President Trump, who's just like a normal, basically liberal, honest American, pro-America guy. And they're going after him and his supporters. I think that that is to get rid of all of the, these are all centrist organizations at heart, right? Centrist. But of course, you know, in a big organization, there's going to be some kooks. It's alienating the normal people. And I think that it's trying to tempt them to get mad and act out. That's why they're saying, oh, white supremacists is the domestic terrorism from the whites and the right-wingers is the main thing. You did hear about some attacks, like eco-fascist attacks, like the El Paso attack. But you also heard about the black radicals attacking the Jewish store and stuff like that. It's not just the whites. And they're completely ignoring Black Lives Matter and Antifa, this whole intelligence report. Ridiculous. Anyway, let me get to Dylan in Nashville, Tennessee. How are you doing, Dylan? Thanks for holding.
Doing well, James. How are you doing?
Doing well as well. Thank you.
Awesome. Man, y'all have had awesome shows this week. I mean, y'all shows are always awesome, but man, they've been so much awesome talking points and stuff. So I was listening earlier while I was doing some work and wasn't able to call in on Jesse's show, but the caller that called in about the black employee, you know, that he was nice enough to come in and cut his grass.
The black guy, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Okay. So weird that come up because my friend told me about what happened to him at his business that he owns yesterday, and it absolutely takes the cake. I mean, it almost makes you lose faith in humanity. Okay.
Yeah.
So he brought on this black guy that has a couple kids, kind of falling on hard times, right? Did him a huge favor, stuck out his neck for him, let him come on and work for him.
Let me interrupt you briefly, Dylan, because I'm a little distracted. Is it me or is the Trovo chat getting raided? Is the Trovo chat getting raided? Because I see like 212, 163 viewers, and there's a bunch of people typing a bunch of nothing. That's strange. And I don't know what to do about it either. Followers only chat. Let me turn that on. 30 minutes, 1 hour. Okay. Maybe that'll fix it. Okay. Sorry, Dylan.
You were just fine, James.
Yeah.
All right. But anyways, brought on this guy who fell on hard times, needed a job, let him come work for him. Within a couple weeks of working for him, he had car trouble, right?
Yeah.
And he's this, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? This and that. My buddy was nice enough to go get him a part because we all kind of work on cars just for fun and everything. He fronted the money to go get this guy's car fixed, right?
Yeah.
We got more time to spend around him and stuff like that. And, around his baby mama, and this was around Christmas time that all this kind of transpired whenever this happened.
Yeah.
And, we don't think we're going to get our kids Christmas presents and, the sob story. And he was just like, you know what? Him and his wife decided to go out and get his family Christmas presents for his children. All of these nice things. After the Christmas holiday, he has missed work a bunch of times in a row, excuses, half doing things. And he finally just got to the point where he said, hey, man, this isn't working out and I'm going to have to let you go. So after all of this employee is trying to sue him for racial discrimination and firing him on the basis of being racist. Can you believe that?
That's evil. I can believe it because it's like so. Anyway, I can believe it actually.
Right, and it was just like hearing that story of that guy. It's just like you would hope something like that is just few and far between, but it happens all the time now.
Yeah.
And I feel like what it goes back to is you give a mouse a cookie, he's going to ask for a glass of milk. Whenever you are constantly giving people things and not making them work for it, they feel entitled to it after a while.
Yep.
And that's the exact boat that we're getting into now. And I just couldn't believe that caller called in earlier. And I'm just like, wow, that is literally the exact same situation as my buddy. And it's like, on what grounds would you ever accuse me of being a racist and stuff when I would do all those nice things for you just to work for me?
Right. Yeah.
I just thought it was crazy. But hey, do you got time?
It's common.
You got time for one more thing, James?
Go for it.
Okay. I'm here in Nashville. I swear, just about every day, it's just the comedy routine. So they're about to rename a street, and people are just celebrating this like it's no other. And guess who they're naming it after? A drag queen.
Oh, man.
Oh, gosh. And then you just look into it. It's like, oh, okay, so, this person, what did they do? Like, save a school bus of children? Did they find the cure for cancer? Did they do this? And then you find out, oh, well, no, he had AIDS. And it's like, and died. It's like, what? It's like, is the bar really that low?
It is.
That we will replace street names of people who actually sacrificed for this country and actually did amazing and powerful things for someone who just died of AIDS. And they're like, oh, well, they gave money to the AIDS Foundation. It's like, wonderful.
Right. That's a shame.
It just makes you
They have this thing called Harvey Milk Day in California. I don't know if it's nationwide, but in California, I think they have it. And they push this on children. Harvey Milk was a radical who, I think he died of, I'm quite sure that he's died of the same thing too. And, it's sick. It's sick.
It is. But, I've called you before about like Alfred Kinsey and stuff like that. I mean, this is just the culture that they have created.
Yep.
We're
Kinsey, the sex stuff.
Yes, I'm serious. If you ever get a chance to look at that book and you see that chart where it's talking about 3-month-old, 5-year-olds and stuff, and you can't tell me that that's not abusing children, that is not science, and that's just insane.
Right.
But hey, I don't mean to go off on a tangent, James.
Thank you, man.
It's always a pleasure to talk to you, and happy Friday, everybody.
Thank you, Dylan. Take care. Very nice. Yeah, there's all kinds of sick stuff going on, and some of these guys are getting in a little bit of trouble. Not a lot of trouble for this stuff that they're into. These radicals. They're into the wrong things. There's been reports coming out. It's gross. It's terrible. Let me get to Justin in Big Sandy, Texas. I haven't heard from Justin in a while. How are you doing, Justin?
I'm doing good, sir. How you been doing?
Doing fine.
Well, I'm at school, and thank God it's in Texas. They do a really good job, in my opinion.
Opened up again,
We've been reading. Yep, and 100%. I do like the fact, though, that Governor Abbott said we still need to have personal responsibility. The thing is, that's the one thing that I wish we all had, personal responsibility. But I'm not here to talk about that. I've read a book at school. It's called The Handmaid's Tale, and it reminded me so.
Was it on the reading list?
Yeah, but hold on. Let me give you kind of why I think it's relatable to today's standards. Think about this. All right, so The Handmaid's Tale.
Okay, you going to explain what The Handmaid's Tale is?
I'm going to explain how it relates to today's society.
Is it related to that TV series, The Handmaid's Tale?
Somewhat, but they took creative liberties.
Right,
and
okay.
Went out on a But
is it feminist?
Tale, to an extent, it is. But this is what I've realized. Right, so in The Handmaid's Tale, women are controlled by men. Already gives me vibes of Islam.
Nice.
They're forced to wear clothes. They are forced to pray. In Islam, you have to pray 5 times a day.
Uh-huh.
In their culture, men control women. They force them to do things. And I don't know if this is in Islam or not, I think that it was well-intentioned, but you cannot have sex for enjoyment. Now, if you're married, I think you should have all the sex you want. But
how old are you again, Justin?
I'm turning 18 in a week.
Okay.
But also,
and you're a Christian.
Yep, I am a Christian.
Okay.
But listen to this. In today's society, there's a part of the book where
hold on. What? I'm doing Oprah right now. The Handmaid's Tale is on the reading list for a public high school in Texas.
Yeah, I was a little weird. But what I was trying to say was there's this part of the book where it says that they take the Bible and what they do with it, they just pick out the verses. They don't tear out verses. They mark them out. And they only preach this kind of thing. Think about that in today's society where Christianity, they're making it seem like it means something completely different from where it is or from what it's supposed to be.
No, they're using using the Handmaid's Tale to smear Christians.
Kind of. But if you read it and that is ridiculous. But if you read it, you'll actually see that the author inadvertently predicted what is happening today, like saying that women are forced to believe this one thing, men are forced to believe this one thing. Think about what the left's doing. They're trying to force us to believe certain things.
Right.
I think that the author, it may have been kind of a smear tactic to an extent, but what she did actually inadvertently was kind of true.
Yeah,
think about
it's true about the people that they're. It's true, but about the left.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And the thing is, I don't really like the book, not because of its topics. It's just it jumps around too much, so I can't really understand it too well.
Yeah.
But
is it written by a woman?
It is written by a woman.
What year was it? What year did it come out, or decade? Do you know?
I think it was either the 60s or the 80s. I forgot which decade.
I think that I thought I saw I thought I saw Get a Job in the chat saying that he had to read that dumb book, but maybe he's talking about another thing. Anyway, interesting, Justin. I appreciate it, man.
Hey, no problem. And like I said, this is what happens. Karma comes in, and it may be true, but for the opposite reasons.
Karma? I thought you were a Christian. Christians don't believe in karma?
Oh, yeah, good point. I just say karma as a joke. You know, I use it as a joke sometimes.
I mean, you are 17. People use karma instead of you reap what you sow. All right. Anyway, appreciate it, Justin.
But you have a good day, sir.
You too.
Have a good day, Mr. Hake.
All right.
All right.
Take care. Bobby in Texas. Bobby, what's up?
What up, James? How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
So, it was good to see your new girlfriend there on JLP this morning.
She's not my girlfriend.
Not yet, but just...
Yeah, that was fun.
That was really cool. But, what I called about was, I don't know if you're familiar, I'm sure you are, with the drag queen story hour that's apparently sweeping the nation.
Yeah.
So now they're starting to bust all the people that are running these things with child pedophilia or child pornography and what have you. Like, I don't know if you're familiar with the case in Milwaukee County where the fella was a drag queen and they arrested him, I think it was yesterday, and then they released him like 4 hours later on a signature.
And then they had, with no bail, huh? No money bail?
Yeah, no money bail. Just let him out on a signature that he would, I guess, show up to court. And then they said they put a label in there like, hey, you can't be around kids, you this, that, but except for your own. You can be around the kids that you adopted, you and your male husband adopted.
That is. Who's that?
Hold on, buddy. That's my son. Hold on, buddy. Yeah, he's getting into stuff.
Is that the guy who was like a president of one of the co-founders or something of Drag Queen Story?
The leader. Yeah, he was one of the co-founders. Started, I forget the foundation that he was with, like Imaginary or something. I don't know. But he got
I
out,
heard
like,
some. That's kind of what I was referencing earlier when I was talking about all the stuff that these people are into.
I think he had 7 counts of child pedophilia, pornography. I'm not quite 100% on the facts of it. Then there was in Houston, Texas, had one of their leaders of their drag queen story hour that received the same thing. He had several counts of child pedophilia. And
I really think that all this stuff is not out of any, sometimes people pretend like they feel sorry for the LGBTIQ minorities, but I think it's really to corrupt the culture and to put it in a PG
photos.
way with the people who get swallowed up in this degeneracy and commit crimes and all that stuff and victimize people and get victimized. I think they don't care about how degenerate and evil and destructive this stuff is.
And the people that are taking their kids there, like, you can find some photos of these deals, and they're packed. There's 50 kids in there, all dressed up like in their rainbow colors, and it's just, the parents have just lost their minds. It's like, why you'd want to expose your children to that sort of lifestyle is beyond me. I don't understand that at all.
Yeah. Yeah, the Gateway Pundit reports breaking: former president of Drag Queen Story Hour Foundation and children's court judge. He was a children's court judge? What? Arrested on 7 counts of blah, blah, blah. You can look it up for yourself. It's such disgusting stuff. And it's such a terrible thing that I don't even like really repeating it. It's so vulgar. And
don't go there, man. Look what you exposed us to yesterday, man.
It's corrupting young men and women too. And then it's blaming them when they get into this sick stuff. What a setup. Wow, the Gateway Pundit, is it me or is the Gateway Pundit a cancer website? It just jumps around like crazy. Ads anyway.
They go both ways.
Yeah, I know. What a shame. Anyway.
But it's disgusting. It does bother me. And the fact that they just let this guy out on a signature and allow him to be around his adopted kids, like.
Yeah, and meanwhile they won't let many of the. I heard that some of these guys in the Capitol protest, the mostly peaceful Capitol protest, some of which got riotous and a little violent and destructive. Some of them can't even get out of jail when they're actually no threat.
Right, exactly. For just being let into the Capitol and walking in some of them probably walked in by accident. I'm sure some were doing some bad stuff, but some people were just like, well, they let us in.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to go in and see what's up.
Yeah.
I could imagine being in the same position. If I just got waved through by the police, I'd be like, well, I guess I'm allowed to go in.
Yeah.
Right. But
and they call it an insurrection. Give me a break.
And talk about it for 8 weeks. But this guy doesn't even have to stay in jail overnight.
Right.
And is allowed to go be right back around little kids. And the Democrats are just like, yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to sit in jail.
To be honest, the Democrat Party doesn't belong around any kids. Because they're promoting this evil stuff to children. They're pretending, let's just teach them about gay and I
don't know if you're familiar with TCAP, the To Catch a Predator shows and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I used to watch those, crack me up. But every one of them is, they're all Democrats. You can watch some of the Cassidy Campbell on YouTube that it's like a character that he does, but he'll call them out as being a Biden supporter or whatever, and he tries to make them say that they love Trump and Trump's their daddy, and none of them want to say it. They're all like, oh, no, I don't want to say that. I don't want to say it. And he's like, well, I'm calling the cops then. They're like, okay, I'll say it. But they're all Democrats, and then people on the left are trying to say, no, it's the right that's the pedophiles. That's where all the pedophiles are at. It's like, what planet are you from?
Yeah. I appreciate it, Bobby. Thank you for the tip, man.
Good to talk, but
all right, take care.
Have a good one.
You too. Quickly, let me get to, in the last few minutes here, I got to get to Kevin in Chicago, Illinois. I have Killian on the line and the rest of you guys. 888-775-3773. Kevin, first-time caller in Chicago. Thanks for holding. What's up?
Hi. How y'all doing?
Fine, thank you.
So, I was wondering if you heard about this Alexi McCammon. She was the Teen Vogue editor. She recently got fired for anti-Asian remarks back when she was a teenager.
I did hear a little bit about that. I never looked into the story, but a Teen Vogue, to talk about cancer, Teen Vogue is really degenerate. And she's no doubt a liberal, right? And she's a writer for Teen Vogue, and she was fired for...
She was the editor.
She was an editor. And she was fired for tweets from when she was a teenager or something like that?
Yeah, she's...
How old is this woman?
I think she's like late 20s, early 30s, something like that.
What did she tweet back as a teenager?
I forget what she tweeted. All I know is she got fired.
Yeah.
And people were... She's a minority. She's African American.
Oh, she's black.
And there's... Yeah. And the people defending her, some of the stuff I heard, is she's like, well, you have to understand that in America, white supremacy that makes us do irrational things, and the angst that causes people to do certain things, the stress that white supremacy causes. She was basically says white supremacy made her do it. It's just insane.
Oh, that's what she's trying to say?
Yeah, I've heard that take. That's not what she said, but I heard people defending her.
Okay.
They're saying that, and this brings me back to my next point regarding the Asian attacks. You heard the killings down in Georgia, and they're saying, oh, it's all white supremacy.
Right.
Meanwhile, how many times have we seen black people attacking Asians? We've seen it all throughout California.
Right. For years, actually. Not just since the coronavirus, but it's been happening for years.
Exactly. But it's always, anytime they get attacked, white people, that's what they do.
Yeah.
Who is attacking white people? Who is controlling the media?
Yeah.
Are they a Semitic race? I think so.
True.
I don't want to get you fired, though, so I'm going to move on to the next caller. Take it easy.
Appreciate it, Kevin. Take care. Yeah, they're not normal whites. They're not normal white Christians. People say, oh, the whites are running the media and the government. No, it's disproportionately non-Christian so-called whites. We are getting to the top of the hour. I'm going to get to Killian right off the bat coming after this break. Let me play this Soul Junk song, Soul-Junk. It is another 2.5-minute song. I think it's nice. This one, you can actually make out the lyrics, I think, because I can make them out. So hopefully you can. And it is Christian, right? Okay. Be right back. Yeah, Droptop Floride. That's the name of this song by Soul Junk from 1957. Well, that's the album. It came out in like 2003. Enjoy. I'll be right back.
Once again, peace, perfection, passing predilection, maybe connection, holy intersection, bliss out beyond words. Dang, how the bomb hurts when we drop it like we forgot live in concert. Prom skirts and tuxes, Bronco ready boxes. Texas is nothing next to what I got in fluxes. Rock this and get loose, crowd starts to get loose. Rapping for the kingdom, big night. I'm a pet, shoes a blind bat, flying with the radar on. Pulling moves, warm, millionaire, passing the car. I love that. It takes a pen, shit to live cement, and if your head goes mushy, that's the idea. Forgetting where we hail from, 777. Cat 7 is a place where nothing happens. That's why you spreading the beat type disease. I'm the greatest of these, we up above it. Yeah, you peep the fly and drop easiest. Achilles got mangled, your fatal fly dangles. Your tendency to judge with your eye got you strangled in ligaments and sinews, while truth lies within you. Muscle bound, I have to to get round to skin you alive. Talking about all cats survive who surrendered their lives while the others pile drive. There's a 6 feet beneath ya. We here to release ya. Captain Underwood, stand by to debrief ya. What was it like when the jump rolled in? Like revelation. Don't care what you've been. Got the power and authority to cancel your sin. And the ghost of Jehovah moves alive deep within you. What was it like when the jump rolled in? Like revelation. Forget where you've been. Got the power and authority to cancel your sin. And the ghost of Jehovah playing host once again.
Some of you guys say that's noise, that's not music. Or it sounds like a weird 2001 Madden song. That's funny. And a super chat from on dlive.tv/The Hake Report. William A33 with a diamond. Gave a diamond and said, Biden stumble, 17 seconds long. Tagged you on Gab. That's right. I have Gab. What am I on Gab? James Anton Hake? Or am I the Hake Report on Gab? Gab.com/ let me see if it's James Anton Hake. I think it is. Yep. James Anton Hake on Gab. Thank you, sir. I will check that out. Appreciate the tip. To Ninja Huey and William A33. I will be checking the Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/The Hake Report. And thank you to the Trovo supporters, trovo.live/The Hake Report. Let me get to Killian in Boston, Massachusetts. It's been on hold for some time now. Killian, how are you doing?
Guten Morgen.
Guten Tagen. So what's up?
So basically I was thinking about packing up everything and moving to Florida.
You were thinking about that a little bit ago, right, too?
Well, I went down and visited my dad for 3 months, and my girlfriend was all pissed.
She was mad at you
like,
for going...
Huh?
She was mad at... Your girlfriend in Boston area was mad at you for going down to Florida for 3 months?
Yeah, she was angry that I was having fun.
That's understandable.
No, I completely empathize with her.
Yeah.
I mean, she's working her ass off, and I'm on unemployment.
Uh-huh.
But, I mean, can't say that unemployment hasn't been generous.
Right. I know. So you're thinking of moving down to Florida for job opportunities? Do you have any job opportunities?
Yeah, when I was down there, me and my dad, we go out to the bars and shoot pool. And I had a couple guys actually offer me jobs while I was down there for like $40 an hour.
Wow.
It's like all the economic activities going down to Florida.
You know, I do what you want. I'm not, but offhand, I don't think that that's a bad idea. There are, like, Florida's a great state right now. There are good opportunities. If you had a job offer in Boston, I would say stay where you are. Or, you know, I would consider staying where you are. But since
I've been getting a lot of job offers, but nobody wants to pay anything up here.
Oh yeah, it's not high enough pay for you. I mean, it's
very stagnant.
It's up to you, man. It's up to you. But yeah, it doesn't sound like a bad idea, offhand.
Yeah, it's just tough because I'll feel bad. I mean, Jesse would probably call me a beta, but
Why?
I've been with my girlfriend for about, like, I don't know, 8 or 9 years now.
You've been dating her for 8 or 9 years?
Yeah.
You don't live with her, right? You do not?
Yeah, no, we live together.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you are beta.
Well, I stopped having sex with her, so...
Oh, good for you.
That's adding to her getting really pissed off at me.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good, man. Yeah, next step is to move out, and if Florida is the place to go, do it.
Yeah.
And then if she wants to stay with you, maybe she moves down there too, in a separate place.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like I live like at her place. I mean, we split the rent. We've already agreed on it like months and months and months ago, and I can afford to pay my own way.
How long have you been listening to the JLP?
Maybe like 2 years now.
And when did you move in with this girl?
When I got back from Florida around Thanksgiving.
Oh man! And you didn't know better than to move in with her?
I know, it's just the whole pandemic thing, and it was hard to find a place, and
that's a shame, man.
Going on.
You're a man.
It is a shame. It is a shame. It is a shame. That's why I kind of want to get out of here.
It's a shame on you. It's not a shame on the pandemic shutdowns. It is a shame on the shutdowns, but it's a shame on you as a man. You know that. That's what I meant by that, right? You understand that?
Oh, I totally understand.
Yeah. It sounds like you agree with me about that, too.
No, I do agree. It's kind of why I'm feeling like I need to get out of here.
I mean, don't jump the gun on anything since you're, I mean, I wouldn't, if I were you, I wouldn't want you to just jump the gun and fly out in a panic, but you should move out as soon as reasonable.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll be stuck here for at least another 3 or 4 weeks. I got to go get surgery here in a week or so.
Okay. Well, good luck to you. Interesting updates on your life, man. I didn't know that you were living with a woman, but I respect you stopping and wanted to do the right thing.
Yeah, well,
That's
cool. I figured I'd call in. It's like everyone's so isolated up here.
Did you agree about the not having sex before marriage stuff before you started listening to Jesse? Because you were a Catholic. You're a conservative Catholic Christian man. Did you agree with? Did you know that you weren't supposed to be into that?
Kind of, but when we first met, I was going to college and I was a degenerate.
Yeah.
I was smoking weed and drinking every day.
And you're roughly my age or a little younger, right?
Yeah, I'm 33.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Well, cool, man. Interesting. If you move to Florida, that's cool. If you find a job where you are, that's cool.
Well, the big benefit is when I went down there to visit my dad, I was down there for 3 months and I met all his friends, and all his friends really liked me, and it's like a big network of people.
Yeah.
I was getting job offers left and right, and people offering to help me out with anything I needed. And,
yeah.
I mean, it was all older people, so I'm sure they enjoyed the company of like a younger, spry guy,
right,
with a little charisma.
Yeah.
But up here, it's like I'm just isolated. It's like I stay home every day, and she goes to work. She's a school teacher, and it's like I don't really have anybody to talk to or anything. Basically, the reason I'm calling you up right now.
Yeah. Well, I understand it, man.
It's nice to talk to somebody, you know?
Yeah. That is, what a life. It doesn't sound bad. It doesn't sound bad, though. Just something to
comfy. I just basically hang out. I get to sleep in and
I don't think that's
4chan, and
I don't think that's good for a man.
Sip a couple beers. I know. I should be out there working.
Idle hands are the devil's workshop. That's what they say.
No, the highlight of my week was on Monday. There was this old elderly woman a couple doors down from where I live, and she needed some maintenance repairs. It was like an emergency.
Nice.
I went over there with my tools, and I took care of her problem, and she was happy as a clam. She actually gave me a thank you card.
That is cool.
With a bunch of scratch tickets in them. She kept on asking me how much money I would to charge her, and I said, I don't want anything. Don't worry about it. I got nothing to do. I'm just sitting around.
You could be a handyman, man. You could be one of those guys that, I don't know if handyman is the right word, but handyman does
No, I've actually
do well.
given it thought to like start like a handyman business, but up here they're so strict with licenses. You need a license to do anything.
Yeah, I know. It's ridiculous.
Like I know how to fix stuff.
Right.
But it's like if I change someone's light bulb and I don't have an electrician's license, then like you can get in trouble.
Right. I know. It's silly socialist state that Massachusetts is, kind of like Cali.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about going down to Florida. Florida's it's like the land of adventure. It's a bunch of pirates down there.
Well, good luck if you do, man. Whatever happens, let us know. Kind of interested to see how it goes.
I definitely will.
All right.
I definitely will let you guys know.
Appreciate you, Killian. Take care.
All right, you as well.
All right. Okay, guys. Real quick, before I get to... I have Rick from Hampton, Virginia, coming up next. He wants to talk about these blacks assaulting Asians. But first, let's talk about the real issue. The white guy shooting the Asians. And never mind that he shot a couple whites, too. I looked at these tweets. So I was tagged on some of them. I have a liberal former professor, sort of friend of mine, I guess you would call him, from Azusa Pacific University, where I attended college. And this guy always trashed America, American fundamentalist evangelicals and stuff like that. I don't know what fundy or fundamentalist means. I don't know what evangelical means. I mean, I heard the name before, but I guess that's what we are, Christians, right? Normal Christians, normal conservative Christians. Anyway, I read these tweets, some of them from former guests of the Jesse Lee Peterson show, some of whom I had invited on the JLP show. Beth Moore, let's do this in, I have these, I'll go according to ABC order. How about that? By name. Beth Moore, ABC order, also known as alphabetical order. Beth Moore was the woman whom I covered a week or two ago. She's leaving the Southern Baptist Convention or something like that because she can't stand how the Christian men are supporting Trump. Anyway, she said, this violence against she tweeted this out, our Asian American neighbors, and we don't know if those were Americans, but anyway, is from the mouth of hell. Hate acts. It does not stay confined to the heart and mind. It incites the tongue. Untreated, it travels to hands and feet. Hate is murderous. 1 John 3:15. Stand against it. Speak against it. Pray against it. Check yourself, woman. This woman hates the president. She called the president she just jumped to conclusions based on Trump's 2005 secretly recorded words or accidentally recorded words or whatever it was from the Access Hollywood tape about grabbing women. And she said, he's a sexual assaulter. That's hate. That's slander. She's slandering an innocent man based on zero evidence. Zero evidence. Evil woman. She's a hater herself. Anyway, Don Lewis is another guy, a black guy. Don Lewis, 87. He's all, Colin Kaepernick, as in that light-skinned black mixed guy who was adopted by a white couple, takes a knee to bring attention to an ongoing national travesty. What is that travesty? The fact that Black Lives Matter is even allowed to exist? That's the travesty. He is vilified and called horrible names because he is an evil person. Roger Aaron Long, which I think he meant, is it Robert Aaron Long or is it Roger Aaron Long? I think he's butchering the white man's name. The 21-year-old who killed those people. Kills 8 people. And hey, don't be so hard on him. He was having a bad day. Hashtag disgraceful. Hashtag Black Lives Matter. This, I think, is supposed to be a Christian, too, by the way. This black guy who's saying that. Well, no, they're both evil. Colin Kaepernick, killing souls, encouraging kids to kneel and disrespect America based on lies and smears upon America and cops and whites. And so he's vilifying America and calling America horrible names, calling cops murderers. He said cops are getting away with murder and getting paid leave. No blacks are getting away with murder of each other. And they're also disproportionately killing others, too. He also, somebody responded to this Don Lewis guy who calls herself Khashoggi's ghost. Khashoggi being a Washington Post propagandist for one of those foreign countries, right? Muslim foreign countries. And he was allegedly murdered, and they're trying to say it was the Saudi king who had him murdered, or a Saudi prince. But anyway, basically this woman's a liberal. She said, I keep wondering if this white cop in Georgia, because the cop is talking about the guy had a bad day, basically. I wonder if this white cop in Georgia has any idea how awful he sounds. Does he have enough sense to be embarrassed? Can he see his own double standard? Does he realize how completely racist the world now thinks he is? Or is it just normal down there? These people are just jumping to conclusions because the cop is describing his understanding of the motive. There's Frank Schaefer, evil guy, son of Francis Schaefer next. A young male shooting up the massage parlors to eliminate these women who tempted me, quote unquote, is evangelical white misogyny that's baked into the very DNA of Christianity on vivid, horrible display. That's what he said yesterday. That guy, Frank Schaefer. He's honestly is kind of a joke, the stuff that he says. It's ridiculous. But yeah, he calls himself an atheist who believes in God now, and he was an Obama lover, just awful weirdo. Anyway, anyway, whatever. So ridiculous. I would love to interview him again, or have Jesse Lee Peterson interview him for the first time, or have JLP interview him, but I think he's a coward. I don't think he'll come back. Heather Thompson Day is what is that? Is that a black woman? Anyway, she said, sex workers are human beings made 100% in the image of God. And she says, I think it's very bizarre to see anyone comment on the fact that someone is a sex worker, referring to the suspicions about these spas, right? They look more like inappropriate, maybe illegal, sexy spas than normal spas, right? And talk about that more than the actual murderer? And she goes, woo, I'm tired. Then you should not be concerning yourself with this issue, woman. Because you got to talk about all aspects of the situation. That's the woman. Here's a beauty, to use Trump's language. In case you didn't know, this is Irene M. Cho. An actual Asian female, I think. I'm assuming. I don't know, actually. Nowadays, people, they have dudes calling themselves Irene. Yellow is the new black, isn't it? She says, in case you didn't know, fetishization, and that's where white guys or people in general start to treat Asians as sex objects, is racism. It is white supremacy. It is hate. It is violence against Asian women. Don't get confused. It took me a long time to dig in, she says, and understand this. I'm assuming it's a she. Some, including police and media, will try to say it's not a race crime because the terrorist's confession of being a sex addict. It absolutely was a race crime, she says. He fetishized Asian women. She's assuming that he did that. She's assuming that he fetishized Asian women. Because I haven't heard that he fetishized Asian women. That he may have frequented these things. But when you're into sex, you get into... Anyway, who knows? Some people can get into anything. He didn't target random massage parlors. No, ones that he probably frequented. Do they say that it is... When you're homosexual, it is hatred of men. It is female supremacy. It is hate. It is violence against men when they talk about promoting homosexuality. Because they're talking about this way about this perverted being into Asians by other races, by whites. I just wonder that. She's not completely wrong that sex, getting all into sex like this in a perverted way is rooted in hatred. But she's just completely lost other than that. We see this in white supremacy, the belief that Asian women are subservient and obedient and do their bidding to be controlled. It's a perpetual othering in its twisted fantasizing and exotification. No, I mean, normal people are like, I prefer a traditional woman. But that's not, anyway, whatever. And don't bring in an argument about Asian women's tendency to marry white men. That's an entirely different, complicated issue of assimilation and needing to decolonize what we've been taught to elevate whiteness. It has nothing to do with fetishization of Asian women. No, it's actually Asians using whites in order to get into the country or get money. I don't know. Anyway, it's various things like that. We will see how the media begins to spin this in coming hours and days. As we know, because the terrorist is a young white man, white supremacy in this country will protect him at all costs. That's rich, huh? That's why the whites go to the Asians. Asians are insanely obedient or non-confrontational. until you get behind closed doors, and then they're a piece of work. Anyway, next one from this no, that's not a black guy. This guy named Joshua Sharp actually looks like a white person. Maybe not a white Christian, but he said, why am I not surprised? And he names 3 names. I have no idea what those names are. Haven't yet said a word, probably they're Christians, publicly about the Atlanta shooter or the fact he was a committed Southern Baptist. Denny Burke, James White, and Owen Strachan. Any of you guys familiar with this? Are they like Southern Baptist or something like that? So this guy is claiming that the shooter was a committed Southern Baptist. In other words, he was a lost Christian who knew it was wrong what he was into, all the sex stuff. And he was so lost that he thought it would be a good idea to murder people to get rid of the temptation. And so this woman who was on the Jesse Lee Peterson show, I mentioned her already, Jory Micah, twice. She was on the radio show, and then she was on The Fallen State. And here she is, all young and pretty. In The Fallen State, she seemed bigger. I don't know. Anyway, she said they would rather talk in coded, and I think she's talking about Christian males, Southern Baptist Christian males. They would rather talk in coded misogyny and racism by critiquing and mocking BLM, Black Lives Matter, CRT, which is, I assume, critical race theory, CRT, critical race theory, women preachers, survivors of sexual abuse in the church, and being woke. They think we can't blame them for their complicity if they are covertly racist, misogynist narcissists. That's a mouthful, but we can. How are they complicit in this young man's going out of control? It's interesting, though, because Christianity is so weak. It's not showing people how to overcome. By not Christianity, but the people who are the leadership, including this woman, and these liberal Christians, but also many of the conservative Christians, helpless for helping people overcome their issues. Or showing people how to overcome. Anyway, she said, I'm starting to think it would be better for men to literally gouge out their eyes if their lust is so intense that it motivates them to murder women. Maybe Jesus had a point. That's so backwards. But it is kind of funny because this boy, instead of gouging out his eyes, he murdered a bunch of people, thinking that he was going to get rid of the temptation, according to the story, right? But that woman is sick. Ryan Ashton tweeted, you know what, let me skip this. Let me just, I'm tired of it already. I'll get to Ryan Ashton later, and then some other people. But that's quite enough, right? You get the picture. There's Beth Moore. There's, what's his name? Frank Schaefer, son of Francis Schaefer. There's that Heather Thompson Day. There's Irene Cho. I guess that's a woman. There's a Jory Micah. That's a cool name, Jory. Never heard that name before, other than her. Anyway, guys, let me get to Rick in Hampton, Virginia. Talk about what's actually going on. What's up, Rick? How are you doing?
fine, brother James. Love you, bro. How you feeling?
Feeling fine. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Good. Man, I just want to, you had this white guy. He'll go shoot a few Asians. But yeah, black.
It's not a few, man. Don't diminish it. It was several.
Several. Let's go there then.
Right.
But the point
And a couple whites, by the way.
Yeah, a couple of whites, so it can't be racist then.
Right.
A couple of whites in there. No, I don't see nobody die, James, but here's the thing. Blacks been assaulting and harming Asians for years.
All right,
Never
no.
heard any media attention. And the only reason how I learned about it is listening to you guys.
Yep.
Jesse.
Yeah.
You didn't hear it on cable nonsense news, MSNBC, Hee-Haw, none of them news. Hardly even
Yeah.
Matter of fact, you go to the average black person, they act like they don't even know that black was assaulting Asians. They don't even have a clue. And I always tell them, I'm sorry, go ahead, James.
No, go ahead.
I say, if your main source of information is CNN, no wonder you will remain in the dark hole until you decide to start researching your own news.
Yeah. Yeah, very true, man. I'm wondering how Colin Flaherty is doing. I see he is tweeting. He's tweeted a few times today. Nice. Or several times, maybe. So right on. Because earlier he was under the weather. And so we hadn't heard much from him. But Colin Flaherty is one of the guys that I learned about this endless black attack upon Asians. So, yeah, I don't know.
Who was that again, James?
I said Colin Flaherty. Colin Flaherty, author of White Girl Bleed a Lot, and author of Don't Make the Black Kids Angry, and author of Knockout Game a Lie? Oh, hey! No.
Oh, so he wrote several books.
Yeah. Colin Flaherty, Flaherty. I think he's Irish. Well, he's American, but he's
Flaherty.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna look him up too, cause
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I'm gonna learn nothing about this. A lot of blacks less informed because they keep their ass glued to CNN. I believe they put that over the scriptures. I really believe that.
Yeah.
If it comes, you can tell them something in the Bible and tell them something CNN says. They believe CNN first.
I'm chuckling because I received a handwritten letter from a guy named Randy out of Florida somewhere, and maybe West Palm, Florida. I'm not sure. And this guy claimed to be either 63 or 83 or something like that, year old, white male. He might even be a former law enforcement, according to him. And the way he's writing, I'm thinking black guy, and not very bright black guy. But maybe he is white and he's just has a black mind. Because he's talking about what you're not aware of is that all races commit crimes. And then he lists all the things that white people do this and that and this and this. And he's not taking into effect per capita, right? The fact that whites are 63% of the country, and in some cases they're 76 or something like that if you include the white Hispanics, because most Hispanics are white. And then he makes the point that black people, you mentioned the scriptures, black people by and large are more Christian than whites. I'm like, no, they're not. That's so ridiculous. But anyway, but they are a fake imitation of Christian. Per capita, they probably have more maybe churchgoers or people who claim to be Christian. But
that's what you got.
But that's not the real Christian, because they're by and large Democrat voters. There's nothing Christian about voting Democrat. They can be nice people. I've met a whole bunch of black Democrats. They're nice people. Nice till they're not, right? Just like everybody else.
Yep.
Love those who love them, hate those who hate them.
You see that real anger come out.
Right. Yes. And they're like that with their families too. That's why their families are so messed up. And it is happening to whites too, but this guy is just off the deep end. And it's a shame that he's 60-something or 80-something, whatever he wrote, because he kind of corrected it. He wrote over it. But it's such a delusion. They're not Christian. And these people who were writing like I read those tweets, there's nothing Christian about that. It's a shame.
Yep. I agree.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
No self-reflection. No self-reflection. All they're doing is blaming the white male white supremacists and the conservative Southern Baptists. Give me a break.
I get so sick of hearing that. You go to CNN, I guarantee, especially a female reporter, they'll probably mention that about 10 times in about 1 minute.
Yeah, of course. And then when I cite stories, people are like, "How come you're bringing race into it? It has nothing to do with it." But in some cases, I'm just reading their own headline, or I'm drawing a contrast when it is a black. When I first reported this story, they didn't mention the CNN little blurb.
Thank you.
Did not even mention it. So I'm like, how come they didn't mention the race? But sure enough, it was indeed a white guy. Anyway.
Exactly.
Well, I appreciate it, Rick.
Oh, man, James, I don't mean to talk a whole hole in your head.
No problem.
Get on, but I just be so excited to get on your show, your Jesse show, man. But y'all keep up the good work. Love you, brothers.
Right on. Love you too, man. Take care.
Have a great weekend. Brother.
You as well. By the way, Rick, do you catch Church with Jesse Lee Peterson? Oh, I think he's gone. But thank you, man. Wow, that's wild. I see a chat from Based AF, Based America First. By the way, Based, are you the one who raided my chat? Anyway, he said people don't realize statistically a 70-year-old man has a 50% chance of dying within 12 months. Wow. Yikes. Oh, are you talking about Biden? But anyway, yeah, that's interesting. I did not know that. That is wild. Hot Computer Smell and Sixto Rewhited and Willie Powell. Thank you guys for the support on Streamlabs. Streamlabs.com/The Hake Report. Willie Powell with another one. No comment. Sixto_Rewhited. What a name. I don't understand it at this point. He said, Hake, 3 hours a day? Press 3 in chat. Wow. Do I want to go to 3 hours? And then Hot Computer Smell with a super chat on streamlabs.com/The Hake Report. Yeah, it actually is. Biden actually did fall. I'm seeing the report from National File. Thank you for the tag, Asmodor. I just briefly interrupted Hot Computer Smell's super chat to bring you this breaking news, since actually most of the chat knew before I did. Breaking: Biden falls while walking upstairs to Air Force One. The fall was captured on both photo and video. Oh, no. But did you see that picture of him leaning up against the desk, showing off his triceps? His triceps are as big as mine, and I don't even work out. With his, I don't know, I saw a picture of him in a photo op showing off his triceps. Those are the muscles in the back of your upper arm. Probably most of you guys know that. Joe Biden fell this morning. This is a report from National File. And then I'll get back to the great Hot Computer Smells super chat. While walking upstairs to enter Air Force One, multiple photos captured the moment the 78-year-old American president lost his footing and fell about halfway up the stairs. We saw Hillary Clinton do this stuff repeatedly. She fell at the top. She was just a mess. Doug Mills, a reporter for New York Slimes, writes, POTUS, that's President of the United States, stumbles as he walks up the steps of Air Force One at Joint Base Andrews, Maryland, for a trip to Atlanta. Get it? Trip? Just kidding. Well, I'm not kidding. It's funny. Well, the pun is funny. Him falling, I hope he's not hurt, right? Anyway, POTUS stumbles as he walks up the steps of Air Force One. The Insider paper uploaded a photo of his left leg clearly falling to the ground, not the ground, but the step, as he attempted to remain upright by grasping the handrail. Have you seen? Oh, you saw the photo. Well, I wish you well, Joe Biden. Spent a lifetime of moral stumbles, I'll tell you that much. Hot Computer Smell, thank you for the super chat on streamlabs.com/The Hake Report. And then I will get to your calls. Hang tight, callers. We will get to you. 888-775-3773. But Hot Computer Smell says, I'll need LASIK. That's laser eye surgery. After how hard I've been rolling my eyes at this Asian victim nonsense. Yeah. Yeah, seriously. Shaking my head, rolling my eyes. Cobra Koi 99 with a Trovo colorful chat says, Hake, LOL. Thank you. Have I missed any other super chats over there on Trovo? I'll have to check my emails. Sometimes I close my email program. Shaggy Boy with the easy. Thank you, man, as always, for the support. So before I get to the other callers, let me cover this story. Teachers. You know, there was a teacher who undermined a father's authority over his daughter over in Canada. I told you about that. 14-year-old girl wants to act like she's a male. And so the mother wants to do the same thing, right? So the school is going along with it underneath the father's, who knows best, authority. And he got in trouble for misgendering his daughter and called her a she or her. Well, it's happening in America too, I think. Or is it? Where's Loudoun County? Teachers plot a war of harassment. And that's a quote, war of harassment against parents who disagree with the race curriculum. And teachers are so dumb. Some of them they're like 22, 23-year-old females who are college, so-called educated, indoctrinated, and pushing this stuff on children. That's evil. Anyway, they propose infiltrating parent groups and hacking their websites. They plotted from a private Facebook group called Anti-Racist, which is anti-white and anti-black, anti-human. Parents of Loudoun County, Loudoun. You pronounce it for me. Loudoun County. Prosecutors involved in the Facebook plotting a Soros DA, as in George Soros, who received $845,000 from George Soros for a narrow election win. You know, Soros, Tucker Carlson exposed it. Many of you probably already knew that George Soros, a Jewish billionaire, atheist, I think, has toppled countries by supporting riots and uprisings, actual insurrections, not like the Capitol riot, but more like Black Lives Matter, Antifa type stuff, and worse. And he wants that Black Lives Matter and Antifa to get worse, I think. But Soros donated to this DA. These DAs don't prosecute BLM or blacks or POCs, at least not if they're in favor of leftist values. For a narrow election win, county paid $500,000 to racial consulting company for an indoctrination program. And that's a Daily Wire article. Sick stuff. Speaking of that, you know how the blacks were always complaining? I'm getting racially profiled. And the Hispanics too. In New York, this stop and frisk stuff, that leads to racial profiling. And the illegal aliens and their supporters at the ACLU targeted Arizona for their SB 1070 10, 11 years ago, right? And maybe more. Because they wanted, I think that was the show me your papers law, where the cops have the right to ask people whom they stop to show your papers. Well, they're claiming, that's racial profiling, which for one, that's fine with me. But for two, it's not necessarily. But anyway, Bill de Blasio, according to Revolver News, says that police should harass citizens. I don't know if he used the word harass, but that's their headline, right? For hateful conduct, even if it's not a crime. If an NYPD officer shows up at your door, this is presented as a quote from Revolver News, quoting Bill de Blasio, if an NYPD officer shows up at your door to ask you about something you did, it makes people think twice. That's for sure. It's kind of like YouTube and Twitter and Facebook and all these platforms. They're programming people not to question the election, right? Aren't they programming people? Making you think twice about being honest. Comply. Don't say the emperor has no clothes. Comply. Confront people accused of quote-unquote hurtful behavior, even if it does not rise to the level of a crime. Quote-unquote hurtful behavior. And usually, it's somebody accused of hurtful behavior is somebody accused of saying something true or doing something that they have a perfect right to do, right? Or saying something. Even if something is not a criminal case, a perpetrator being confronted by the city, whether it's NYPD or another agency. This guy is a socialist, and he married a black former lesbian. Former? Just kidding. And being told that what they've done was very hurtful to another person and could, if ever repeated, lead to criminal charges. That's another important piece of the puzzle, de Blasio told reporters. And they're only going to go after the whites or the people who are honest about what's really going on. You know it. You know it. What a sicko, huh? There's some report that they are trying to get. And I'm not sure what he's talking about. Hate crimes reports, maybe? He wants to get reports on the number of imaginary hate crimes that take place against Asians and stuff. If someone has done something, always count on a liberal to create a problem and create more problems by bringing in a fake solution, right? If someone has done something wrong but not rising to a criminal level, it's perfectly appropriate to talk to them to say that was not appropriate. And if you did that on a higher level, that would be a crime, he said. What a sicko. But that's evil. Evil grows, and it doesn't stop. There is believe it or not, I took critical thinking in college. Right out of high school, I took critical thinking at Pasadena City College. It was run by a female, and the textbook cited all these examples from who? The Rush Limbaugh. Talk about cringy. These dumb academics making quotes of either sarcastic things or stuff that's true that Rush Limbaugh said and saying, this is an example of the slippery slope. Or this is an example of ad hominem. Ad hominem is valid. Look at the people. You know not to trust any of their arguments. Look at Bill de Blasio and what he said here. You know not to trust anything that these people bring about because they're not going to implement it honestly or fairly. And slippery slope. People said, oh, let us come out of the closet. We don't want gay marriage. Come on, you're being ridiculous. And sure enough, they got the imaginary gay marriage. And now they're having the trans children. It doesn't stop. The slippery slope is real. They say, that's not an argument. It doesn't necessarily mean that. Well, yeah, honestly, if you just take it at what it is, accepting them coming out of the closet is wrong because you're taking away the shame, which is a disservice to them and everyone around them. Anyway, let me get to Tony in California. He wants to talk. What's up, Tony? How are you doing?
All right. Now, how you doing today, Mr. Hake Report? How are you?
I'm doing fine. And what, can you spell how you just said that?
H-A capital T-E.
Tony is so charming.
All right. Well, I was calling, man. It seems like it's an ongoing endless. I mean, y'all just won't stop, can't stop. I mean, why do you hate
like
people for the? Well, it is a song. That was a song. But the situation is, why do this white boy, armed to the T, go to the vice president's house and try to set her up to assassinate her?
It's funny how you know,
white folks, man?
It's funny how you know everything that some goofball did But you don't know anything about what the actual evil people do.
Well, once again, I leave it up to you because that's all y'all report
All right.
was on black crime.
Yeah.
But see,
I haven't
you won't
looked
say
into
nothing.
that. I saw a headline. I saw a
I
headline.
know you did, but you won't say nothing. And that's an important news. You should be reporting on that 24/7. You are trying to assassinate them.
No, I'm not.
You should be reporting and talking about that 24/7 because you are trying to assassinate the vice president of the United States of America.
Are you accusing me of trying to assassinate the vice president, the so-called vice president?
For not reporting it, yes, you are.
Oh, come on.
Because
I just wasn't. Hold on, Tony.
Come on, man.
That's why I have you call in. Did I try to shut you up? Did I try to shut you up in telling the story?
No, you haven't. No, you haven't.
Then, I'm not trying to get her. Did I not feel sorry for poor Sleepy Joe Biden for tripping up the stairs? If I feel sorry for evil Sleepy Joe tripping,
come on, man.
Of course I'm going to feel sorry for her if somebody actually makes an attempt. But I don't know much about the story. I wasn't that interested.
I know you wasn't because it's against the white folks. That's why.
No, it's fine. I'm happy to look. Did I not just spend a half an hour talking about whites and how it's not a good thing that they're all into the Asian thing, Asian girls in a perverted way, and how the Christianity is just a mess?
That's a cover-up story, a talking point. That boy went to 3 different. Let me say something real quick on that.
All right.
He went to 3 different massage parlors. Atlanta, Georgia got the best strip clubs in the world. And he was going to go see an Asian at a massage parlor. Come on, man. It wasn't about no sex addiction. It was not about no sex addiction.
You don't know that.
Because
listen, Tony.
I just told you, bro. Yeah, go ahead.
You're talking about strip clubs that, like, he should go to. This guy looks like he's probably kind of shy, and a massage parlor caters more to shy people, especially Asians, and he's probably dirty and into the Asians. I don't know, but going to a strip club, probably most of the strip clubs are loud, black, sociable people, and maybe some whites. That's not the type of atmosphere that this guy was into. Everybody got their different. Everybody.
How do you know?
Obviously, he didn't go there.
Because he was.
Hey, Tony.
It was a hate crime. That's why.
No. Okay. Would you prefer that he had gone to a strip club and shot up the place with blacks in it?
He wouldn't have shot up a strip club.
Why not?
Because everybody been there. Oh, that's why.
yeah. That's probably. That's another point, Tony.
He knew that. He knew not to go in no strip club. You go in there act a fool you want to be walking out there on the stretcher.
Yeah, gun-free zones are no good for mass shooters. Gun-free zones are no good for mass shooters. They're good for protecting themselves.
The thing is...
No, wait. Gun-free zones are good for mass shooters because mass shooters can have ducks in the barrel. But non-gun-free zones can protect themselves. You're right about that. So then do you support the Second Amendment?
Do I support the Second Amendment? Sir, let me say this to you and to your listeners. Nothing in that Constitution has nothing to do with black folks. Nothing.
Hold on, Tony.
Okay?
Hey, Tony, hang on. Let me put you on hold there since you're not even answering my question.
I just asked you a question.
No, you didn't. You said nothing in the Constitution is for black people. That's dumb. Let me.
It's not.
Okay, fine, Tony. Happy for you.
Thank you.
Asmodor says the shooter had been in rehab for sex addiction and was sneaking out going to massage parlors, according to reports. According to Asmodor. Right. And I don't think that he would make that up. He tends to say stuff that's based in actual reporting.
Y'all made up a voter fraud. You can make up anything. Come on, man.
I don't think that Asmodor has commented on. I haven't seen Asmodor comment on voter fraud. And also, that's not a made-up thing. There has been much reporting about instances over the years.
Yeah, just like everybody that signed them out.
Do you know what the Second Amendment is? Do you know what the Second Amendment is?
Yeah, I heard it. You heard him setting up on that one.
Do you own a gun?
I own several. Why?
Then you should be happy that there's a Second Amendment.
That don't mean nothing, bro. That don't mean nothing. That don't mean nothing.
All right, then go back to Africa, Tony. Go back to Africa.
If you got a gun, why I can't own a gun?
Because you're in America. You're in America. You should be happy.
No.
You can thank a white.
Should be happy now.
Thank the white founding fathers.
Thank the white founding fathers for what? For stealing a country that they didn't belong to. For coming over here and
let you live in it.
Raping,
and we let you live in it.
And murder and extortion and fraud and
thank God.
And capitalism.
Yes.
For all that, huh?
Yep. Thank God.
For taking advantage of other human beings.
Are you grateful? Are you grateful to be in America? I think I asked you this before.
I'm grateful to be alive. How about that?
How about in America?
I'm grateful for being a human being. Wherever
How about
I land
in America?
These feet, bro, wherever I put my feet, it's gonna be success. Don't make no difference.
All right, then go to Africa because you don't seem to be grateful for America.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. If I go to Africa, y'all give all that gold and silver and diamonds back to Africa. Then.
No.
How about that?
No, we rightfully stole it.
You stole it. Thank you.
I don't know anything about it, but it's ours now. We're not giving it back.
Yeah, you stole it. That's right. You said the magic word.
I don't care.
Stole it.
Shoot.
You steal too. That's what white folks do. That's what white folks do.
You're a thief.
You don't get what.
You're a liar.
Come on, man.
So what do I care about? What do you care about honesty?
And you a Christian. And you was a Christian.
Thank you.
So you in every category you just called me. Every category you just called me went right back to you. You're a liar, you're a thief, you're a murderer. Come on, man.
All right.
That's what Christians is.